A grand jury has indicted 2 men in connection to the murder of a Marine in Lexington a year ago. What we've learned about the suspects.
We're tracking the investigation into a deadly crash between a car and a tractor trailer on Interstate 75 in Madison County.
Could a statue of Confederate President Jefferson Davis be removed from the state capitol rotunda? I'll tell you what state leaders are saying coming up.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. They were celebrating a birthday when police say they were shot and robbed outside a Lexington bar. Now, a year later, a grand jury has indicted 2 men for killing a Marine and injuring his wife.
These are the first charges for last June's murder of Jonathan Price and the assault of his wife, Megan. Today, Lexington police announced 2 men already in jail on unrelated charges have been indicted. Garrett Weimer has the latest on the case in our top story at 11.
It's been just over a year now since Debbie Price lost her son. She recently told our Kristen Kennedy in an exclusive interview she never lost hope investigators would make an arrest.
I think they're really working hard. I think it's just a matter of time.
It was just a matter of time. Police tell us a Fayette County grand jury has indicted 23-year-old Quincinio Canada and 31-year-old Dewan Mulazim. They were already in jail on unrelated charges. They're now charged with robbery, assault, and murder. Canada and Mulazim are no strangers to the justice system. Fayette County court documents show numerous previous charges, including several felonies like first-degree robbery. Debbie Price said in that interview Monday that an arrest would not make her loss any easier, but it would provide some peace of mind.
It would make it easier knowing that they couldn't do what they did to Megan and Jonathan, that they couldn't do that to anybody else. It's like there's a hole in my heart, and I don't think it can ever be repaired, but I'm grateful that I have good memories to help fill in that hole.
Even though police now think they know who, for Price's mother, there's still the question of why.
Why? Maybe someday we'll know that answer.
In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Right now, Canada is being held at the Jefferson County Detention Center. Mulazim is at the Hopkins County Detention Center. Lexington police say that both were behind a series of robberies in the city last summer.
New tonight, police are trying to figure out what caused a deadly crash on Interstate 75 in Madison County. It happened just after 5 this afternoon in the southbound lanes near exit 76 in Berea. Police say a car rear-ended a tractor trailer. The coroner says the driver of the car, a 35-year-old man from Somerset, was killed. An accident reconstruction team spent hours at the scene investigating that crash.
I know that traffic on 75 was moving a little bit slower at that point in time. That could have played into it, but like I said, it's still very early on, so I hate to speculate at this point.
The name of the man killed has not been released. Police say all lanes of southbound Interstate 75 have reopened at the scene of the crash.
Another round of strong storms moving across parts of Kentucky tonight, but it looks like we'll catch a break tomorrow. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins us with an early look at that forecast. Hey, Chris.
Yeah, hi, Sam. Hi, Amber. How do you spell relief? How about a cold front that is on top of the Bluegrass State as of right now? And the amount of moisture in the atmosphere from one side of this front to the other is showing up well on something we call the dew point temperature map. Take a look at this. The lower the number you get into the 50s, the more comfortable the air gets. You get a dew point temperature 70 or better, well, that's the tropical stuff. Here's our front. Feels like it's a 70-degree dew point in Lexington, a 57-degree dew point showing up into Covington. That's the drier air that is pulling its way slowly but surely southward into the Bluegrass State. And the cooler temperatures show up with the drier air. 73 Covington, 60s into most of Indiana and Ohio as of now. That front is right on top of the interstate. Thunderstorms out ahead of that a little earlier today, causing some localized issues across the Mountain Parkway corridor. We get into southeastern Kentucky now. Still some thunder and lightning right on top of the Leslie and Clay County line. That's a slow-moving thunderstorm that continues to work its way toward the southeast. Guys, we've got a very active setup ahead of us, both with the temperatures and the threat for more thunderstorms. We'll track a brand new hour-by-hour forecast when I come back in 10 minutes.
Tonight, the first candidate for Fayette County School Superintendent met with parents, teachers, and other members of the community. The public reception for Emmanuel Kalk had to be moved to Dunbar High School because so many people wanted to attend. Right now, Kalk is the superintendent of schools in Portland, Maine. He spent the day touring Fayette County schools, and he says he likes what he saw.
One, there's a lot of great work going on in the district, and through my tour this morning and this afternoon, I got a chance to engage students. So it's great to see students engage in learning, especially during the summer, to prevent that summer slide. Two, we saw some great teachers, in instruction.
8 focus groups, including students, school employees, and members of the community, will interview Kalk tomorrow, and a public forum will be held tomorrow night at Central Office. A second finalist for the job, Terry Breeden, will be in Lexington Thursday and Friday. A proposal to raise the minimum wage in Lexington has been put on hold for now. The Urban County Council has been considering the proposal, which would raise the minimum wage by nearly $3 to $10.10 an hour. But during a meeting of the Budget, Finance, and Economic Committee today, the council decided to table the proposal. A minimum wage increase that Louisville's council approved is now the focus of a lawsuit. And many Urban County Council members say they want that lawsuit resolved before they move forward. Others say they don't want to wait.
This is within our reach. We can make real impact within our community.
The minimum wage in Kentucky has not increased since 2009 when the federal government increased it to $7.25 an hour. Also today, the Urban County Council discussing a proposal that would buy body cameras for Lexington police. According to our news partners at the Herald Leader, the council voted unanimously to put that issue of spending $600,000 for body cameras on the agenda for its upcoming meeting. The council had cut the money from the mayor's proposed budget over concerns there could be hidden costs in the body camera program.
Some Central Kentucky children enjoyed a fun night in downtown Lexington. Children's Charity Classic Week continued tonight with the Kids Jamboree at the Explorium of Lexington. Children helped by the Children's Charity Fund of the Bluegrass got to play at the Explorium and enjoy a pizza dinner from Joe Bologna's.
There's so much for them to do and to see and to learn, and then the great folks here put on a little play for us, which is probably as much fun for the adults as it is for anybody else.
Well, this all leads up to the Children's Charity Classic Golf Tournament. You'll be able to watch it Saturday afternoon right here at 3 on WKYT. We want to go back now to a story we told you about earlier. Some Kentucky politicians are calling for a statue of Jefferson Davis to be removed from the Capitol Rotunda.
Our Sean Moody has the story.
Kentucky's Capitol Rotunda is home to big names in the state's history. Right there in the center is Abraham Lincoln standing tall. There's Henry Clay nearby, Ephraim McDowell's in another corner, and Alvin Barkley's just across the room. There, just behind Lincoln, is Confederate President Jefferson Davis. Historians say he has a complicated legacy.
Some people in the country look at him as being the proponent of slavery. Another looks at him as being the proponent of states' rights. Another as a great patriot.
In the wake of the Confederate flag controversy, high-profile Kentucky politicians are asking whether Davis's statue belongs here. Kentucky Republican candidate for governor Matt Bevin began the conversation, supporting the call to remove the Confederate flag from the South Carolina Capitol. He then said, quote, "I think it would be equally appropriate for Kentucky to remove the Jefferson Davis statue from our capital," end quote. Democratic candidate for governor Jack Conway wasn't as firm.
I certainly think the flags ought to come down over South Carolina and Mississippi, and anything that a certain number of our people find offensive, I'd be willing to talk about, that's for sure.
U.S. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said the issue was worth discussing. Today, Kentucky Republican House Floor Leader Jeff Hoover urged Governor Steve Beshear to issue an executive order taking Davis out of the Rotunda and moving it to the Kentucky History Center. Beshear said this evening he'll urge the Historic Properties Advisory Commission to review the monuments in the Rotunda. Whether Davis's monument ends up at the History Center or stays right where it is, historian Ron Bryant said it's important not to forget Davis's place in history.
If you don't learn the lessons of history, you're sure to repeat the mistakes that they've made through the years.
In Frankfort, Sean Moody, WKYT.
And we will continue to follow that discussion. Berea police call it an easy arrest. They say a wanted man unknowingly turned himself in.
Berea police arrested Eulon Sams over the weekend. He was wanted on theft charges. Police say Sams needed gas money, so he went to a church for help. Someone at the church gave him a voucher, but he had to go to the police department to get it stamped, and police say it didn't take long to realize Sams was wanted.
We have to run a check on those folks before we can give them a voucher. So we ran his information and discovered that he had an active felony arrest warrant.
And it did not stop there. Police say Sams was driving a stolen car. They say he had rented it from a Richmond rental car agency in January, but never returned it. Sams didn't want to talk to us from jail today. New tonight, sexual harassment lawsuits involving a couple of Kentucky lawmakers have been settled, but the attorneys on both sides aren't giving any details. Two female state workers filed a lawsuit claiming former state representative John Arnold touched them inappropriately, and the Legislative Research Commission didn't do enough to protect them. A third female state worker sued Representative Will Coursey, saying he retaliated against her after she complained about his inappropriate behavior.
A Lexington family has a new home tonight thanks to Habitat for Humanity. The Davis family received the keys to their new home on Millbank Road in the Brookfield Chase subdivision. Habitat leaders say the home is in a good neighborhood and it has some cost-saving features.
And our families are ecstatic to live here in these homes that are well built. They're energy efficient, they're Energy Star certified, they've got great neighbors.
Habitat leaders say this home was made possible thanks to a partnership with Thrivent Financial.
Lexington city leaders hope some of the city's flowers and landscaping will be receiving some national attention. Today, the city hosted representatives from the America in Bloom Community Awards program. Judges toured downtown Lexington, the Horse Park, Keeneland, and other sites around town. The awards will be handed out this fall. Lexington won the award for Best Commercial Streetscape last year. We have a great city, so we should.